All right, so changing plans because I was waiting for Napa to show up with my parts, and in the meantime, I actually got the other tire and wheel assembled and put on the tractor on old Bertha. So she's back in the shop, and it's time to get this thing serviced, get it ready to go. Tillers, I'm waiting on parts for. That little front tine that I got up there works, but it's hell to run, so we're going to see if we can get the tiller on this thing today, get it going, and get in the garden with it, maybe. So we got a couple of things to fix here. We got a busted fender mount. That's got to be addressed because otherwise that fender is going to break. So we want to get that one fixed right there. We're going to do fluids on it because it's time. And obviously, we've already done tires, and we'll get that tiller down here. We'll go through that, and we'll figure out how to mount it, because I know this hitch doesn't go on here with the tiller at the same time, so there's a whole bunch of things that fellas got to figure out, and then I got to order a belt for it, because I don't have a belt that goes with this, and I'll have to figure out length and all that, and then I'll call Napa and get one ordered up, so let's get it. So, Strasser doesn't like my crescent wrenches, so now we're gonna have to use them on fucking everything. That way it gets all triggered and shit. A little bit of a downspout drain here, so it's just nice because a lot of the manufacturers didn't have the foresight. Maybe somebody did it after, but at least there's a drain here. A lot of times they just put the plug there and it runs all over the fucking chassis. So we'll use our trusty adjustable wrench, and it's a fucking size, you know? Yeah, it's that size right there, that one. You're welcome, Luke. And we're gonna go ahead and change the oh, she's got a little gas in her. Yeah. So that's not good. Good thing we're changing it, huh? Is that from the float sticking, or what's going on there, I wonder? We'll go ahead and vent our crankcase. That's why we haven't plenty of hours on it. Any real run time on it. And does have a dipstick, so that's cool. So maybe it's from flooding it, from trying to get it started. That's why we've only driven it onto the trailer and off the trailer. We never really drove this thing around and did all that, because I had pulled that dipstick and there was stuff on it. That's as far as I went, so that's why we changed it. We're going to let that thing drain out real good. Being that it's got gas in it, we're going to put like a low hour run on it, maybe 2 hours. Maybe between 3 and 5 hours, and then we'll drop it again. It's a low enough point on that it'll drain out real well and it won't cause any real issues, but I got the oil, so I'm going to do it anyway. All right, so the oil's drained down to where it's not draining anymore. It doesn't hold a lot anyway. We are going to do the transmissions, but I'm going to roll I brought the tiller up here for the back. I'm going to roll that underneath there, kind of figure out semi how this front part mounts, and then I can try to measure for a belt. I don't know that I'm going to measure it the right way the first time. Who knows? I don't know how it's supposed to be tensioned. I am failing to understand that. There's an electric clutch on the front of the motor that engages and then spins the tiller. But I'm having a difficult time trying to figure out how that belt's going to be tensioned, or how you're going to keep tension on that belt. So, I don't have a manual or anything for this, so I guess we're just going to throw this son of a bitch underneath there and we're going to wing it. Put our drain plug back in and tighten it up with the crescent wrench, the adjustable wrench. And Luke, look, I'm using it with my right hand. You can't even blame it on me being a southpaw. Because I think with the right side of my brain. Unlike you. You lefts as fuck. Anyway, never mind. So yeah, there's like the #1 drawer. Vice grips and crescent wrenches. Perfect. Rick, you have fucking wrenches. Yeah, I got them all right there. But Luke, for you, bud, that's just for fucking you, bud. So we're gonna get that underneath there, and then I gotta run to the feed store and a hardware store because I was gonna have Napa bring all the other stuff for the Argo, but they don't have everything that I needed. So the hardware store does stock some lawnmower belts in various lengths. So I might just run in there and see what they have for a selection. And after we get this thing underneath there and measure up and whatever else we got to do here. So let's figure it out. So I'm cheating here. I'm using the drive pulley to drive the tiller forward. And walk this thing underneath here because, you know, work smarter, not harder, right? Ideally, you'd put it out in the air and back on top of it, but I'm in the shop, so I was going to put this out the tractor on the hoist and then do it, but I figured in this instance it might be easier just to lay on the floor. Getting the tractor on the lift's not a problem. Then lifting this up underneath, it's kind of bulky, kind of heavy. So, let's see. Much like I predicted, all of that has to go away. I should have the wheels flipped the other way. So they'd be inside more, but it'll be fine. That half tire width, and just be like row markers, it'll be fine. So I don't even think this thing will come up to the back close enough that I can put it on the bracket without getting this mount off the back. So this mount's a little bit complicated, and I don't know if it's been modified or what. I'm not that familiar. Like I said, I don't have a manual for this thing, but so this is your lifting arm here. That's available for a 3-point mount. I don't know if that was homemade. It's hard to say on this because some of the welds look a little bit factory, some of them don't. It's kind of that era where they could have been, they might not have been. Depends on who was working at the time. I don't know how factory, I'm assuming this is a factory lift drawbar type deal here with the ball on it. So it appears to me that all of this has to come off. These arms, which correspond to your, come on, get over here, Rick, to lifting it somewhere. So I guess we're gonna have to pull all this out of here, and it's gonna be a little bit more, complicated than what I anticipated. Because right now, you can see how far away we are on that bracket. It has to come up here. This sits in that slot there, so it has to come forward and then back a little bit. And right now, we ain't anywhere close to doing that. And I'm hoping Based on the size of the rear tires, that this fucker actually works on here, because it may have been for, well, I know it came off of Power King with Economy, with the Economy Power King with the 16-inch turf tires. So it might not work with the 24-inch ag tires. That'd be a real fucking pisser, wouldn't it? We're gonna be close. Well, fuck. Alright, so I got to looking at this thing. This 3-point arm has got a pretty good bend in it. It's been tweaked. She's probably been pulled on a little bit. I mean, these were, for their size, they were pretty good horsepower tractors back in their day. So everything's a little bit, I don't know if I can get you back here and show you. The 3-point, maybe you'll be able to see it. That 3-point is tweaked that way. That inside one is no longer straight where that one is trying to be. So we're gonna have a few challenges there. I'm gonna get a pellet gun. I swear to God, you stupid bastards. Go lay an egg or something. Get the fuck out of here. Get on. Go on. Shit. I got 150 foot of 6 foot tall chicken wire over there. As soon as I get the fucking rollers for that excavator, we're dozing that shit out up there. We're putting that fucking chicken coop up there and moving them bastards. Assholes. Plus, I think my new chickens are going to be here this week, so. Yeah, we're going to try to get this knocked apart and then at least get that up there. I think we're going to have to do a whole bunch of fixing on this 3-point, 2-point, whatever you want to call it. We're going to have to, on that lift, we're going to have to do a bunch of work on that to try to get it right. Because right now it's kittywampus. And I'm still not sure how this attaches. And he sent that with it, but I don't know where that goes either, so. I have no idea where that goes. Maybe that's something that goes up front there for tensioning the belt or something. I have no idea. Maybe I'll look and see if I can download a PDF or something for a manual on this thing, how to install a fucking tiller. I don't know. I'm still a little leery if this is actually going to fit with the ag tires, but I guess we're going to find out. Okay, we got the back pins out. We got the front pins out, but it doesn't want to come out of it. Everything's a little tweaked and a little loaded on this thing. It's been pulled on pretty hard at one point. Oh yeah, come on. You have to want to come on at some point, come on. You may play hell to get it back in, being that it's so loaded. Things are going to have to be straightened out before it'll line back up again. But that's okay. Okay, so that's that part. I'd call it a drawbar lift for lack of a better term. Boy. Boy, oh boy. See that? Versus that. That one faces like that. That one's pretty straight. This one, it has that little hoop in it, and this one's straight. So I don't know which one's right. I know that one's bent, but it's bent here, not here. But I think if I can take one over at a time versus trying to bend it there, you can see where it's pulled away here. It's got clearance there. Oh boy. see what we can do. Okay, so if I'm approximate here, it does fit with the tires. If you're looking at our approximate lift arm and all that stuff, that works. Trouble is that pin on there doesn't go into that slot there. So something must be, that must have something to do with this. Something? I don't know. Because that looks like it does fit in there. Sure. Is that smaller than that? No. How come that one doesn't fit in there? I believe that's how it should go. And then there's supposed, I think there's something here goes in these holes that locks over and that locks over to keep it in there. So I still don't know what this is for. I'm not sure on that yet. That fits over that, but I don't know what that means. Perhaps I might have figured it out here. Might have figured it out. Okay. So, this one goes up in here on this front part. This goes on in partnership with the back part. We still have the retainers. This little arm here is used as the cam to tighten the belt. So I get that part. This part works on that front part of that mechanism to tension the belt. And I'm guessing there was a spring or something. As it goes this way, then the spring pulls back, or that way, and then you push down. So I'm guessing it pulls back. So we're missing a big motherfucking spring, I'm assuming, for that belt. Or something. That's not that we can't create that. And I might have it because there was other stuff that came with that, other attachments that Bob gave me, linkages and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna fight this underneath here, try to get it all meshed up. Yeah. Okay, I think I got a plan. Well, the next problem here with wrestling this thing in. So you see how that one's at an angle? That one's straight up and down. The other side lines up. That was ripped loose at some point and got tweaked back. So somebody caught something and ran it over. So subsequently, you can see how far we were off there. That's got to be straightened out because over on this side, so that bracket's straight up and down. It's parallel and everything lines up. So I guess we're gonna have to get the porta power out, see if we can push that back and weld it back into place. Okay, so we got a porta power, hydraulic hose. We got the little arm here, and we went to the cross member back there in an effort to not try to tweak anything else that we didn't have to. That seemed like the strongest point that I could reach. That's a pretty robust cross member, and we got a little pressure put on this thing. It does seem like it moves pretty easy. The only problem is as I push on it, you can see how it separates here. It's actually wanting to drive it down. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that this lines up. See, we're still off by a hot minute. And then this bracket's, the arm's hitting it. This one here. So we're going to have to do some adjustment here because I want to make sure that that fits in there before we go ahead and weld that off. We're also going to have to put a clamp in to bring that back up, grind everything out, and then weld it back in. All right, so you can see our gap here. We have it, so that lines up, which is good. So we're going to go ahead and throw the bolt in there, just to kind of hold it in there all temporary like. But now I need to close that gap, but what I'll do is I'll go ahead and grind this out first. You can see it wasn't much of a weld, but somebody definitely caught something with that front bracket and gave her a good tweaking. So we'll clean that up. I'm gonna grab the grinder, we'll clean up that slot, weld that back shut, we'll go from there. All right, we got this clamped in. It won't come up completely tight. I tried alternating between two of them. I think that the cross piece that goes on there is a little tweaked as well, but it does support the bracket. It sits nicely, so I'm gonna leave it alone rather than trying to fucking, we're gonna let sleeping dogs lie, I would guess you would say. So once that's lined up, we're gonna just go ahead and weld that off, and then we can figure out our belt routing or our belt length, and then we'll get back here and figure out the lift mechanism and straighten those arms. So let's get to welding. Okay, so we got that ground out, we got it clamped off the best that we can get it, as close as we can. I'm gonna go ahead and run a bead of weld on this thing, and then we'll just confirm that that bracket actually still fits. Oofta. A little more wear speed there, Rick. Fucking mint. Let that cool for a minute with the clamp on it. All right, clamp off, show your work. If you're gonna weld on the internet, at least show your fucking work. Like how a lot of guys are like, yeah, we welded it. We avoided the fact that it looks like fucking hell and it probably won't hold worth a shit. But the next time it breaks, we won't put it on the internet either. Okay, so that's welded up. At some point, I'm going to have to try to find some color matching paint for this thing, because we're going to have a few things, and I'd like to do the tiller. This thing has been repainted 100%, because you got paint on some of the hydraulic hoses that they didn't take apart, and et cetera, et cetera. It's been repainted. You can see the big paint run right here. It's okay. It's still a nice looking little tractor. Nothing wrong with having a fresh paint job on it and fixing it up mechanically. That's why we did the tubes and the tires. We flipped the tires, finished the tires, the wheels, and we're gonna make her tight and right. So there's the frame repair on old Bertha. We did a little work on the Argo. We got the front end of that fixed up. We're gonna keep tweaking away on this thing. Next step for me is to figure out what belt length I need, and we'll figure out our lift system in the back and straighten those arms. But I think we'll do that in another video. This one's going to get a little too long, and people will get a little fucking lackadaisical on watching the whole thing, so. Mountain Dew is good today. If you guys like what I'm doing, throw me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, ring the bell, get my notifications. Memberships are down there if you want one. I certainly do appreciate that, because it literally helps us do that on the channel. Your guys' help means the world to me. And there's some members only exclusive stuff over there. I'll try to pop one out this week yet, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.